Okay, first up on the list of things that I got from California on my Disneyland band trip is a bag filled with pins, because I started doing the pin collecting trading thing, majiggin. Now, I'm not going to show you the front of this bag because it's kind of stupid. It's the only medium-sized bag I could get. But in here has a bunch of Disneyland pins that I got and a couple ones I didn't get from Disneyland. Overall, this is probably one of the most expensive things I got, because the pins are not cheap if you actually buy the good ones. So let's open this. First of all, I decided to start with my Star Wars ones. Let's just take a good look at those. There's Yoda and Boba Fett and Princess Leia, and here's a limited edition special Princess Leia one that ends up opening up to say this, and I translated this, and it says like BSO. Don't know what that means. If you know what it means, you should leave a comment. Now we move on to the next page. That is not the next page. Here we have some more Star Wars stuff. I have some pins from the First Order, and more pins from the First Order. And this represents the type of lightsaber that I got, which I will also show in a sec. This is a Resistance one. This is a Luke and Rey one. Here's for Galaxy's Edge. This is another limited edition one. And here's the limited edition one for the Castle Crew, which is Chewie and Han. Now we move on to not Star Wars stuff. Now we have some of my favorite ones, Pirates of the Caribbean ones. There's that one, and that one, all these. And we move on to Indiana Jones, down to some limited edition one, and I don't know what this one means. I ripped off a kid for it. I gave him a super common one that I bought with a lanyard that literally anybody could get, and it is worthless. And he traded me this limited edition one. You could tell they're limited edition because on the back of them, they're golden. So, yeah, sucks for that kid. Here's a German Mickey Mouse. Here's Mickey as a pirate, Radiator Springs. And the Disneyland has these pins that are part of collections. And here is my little Emperor's New Groove collection. Here I got, I forget her name. And here's a special, like, silver version of him. Here's Kuzco. Here's also Kuzco, but as a llama. And then here's another collector's one, which are surfboards. The only problem is there are 2 different surfboard packs of 5, and one of these ones, I don't remember which one, belongs to the Disney Orlando set. I have 3 of 5 of the Disneyland ones. And then next page, there's literally nothing because I didn't want to put anything in it. Here are my Avengers ones. I wore this one when getting a picture with Captain America because Captain America is the best. Here's Loki and then the Guardians of the Galaxy. Look at Drax and Groot. Okay. Now we move on to some Universal pins that I have. Wait, let me just... Yeah, okay. So moving on to some Universal pins I have. I am part of the Gryffindor house. So says the Pottermore thing. So I got some Gryffindor pins. And then I got some pins I got the last time I went to Universal Studios. I ended up staying longer than the band to go to more places because the band sucks. And then I have Steamboat Willie over here all by himself on a page. I was going to leave this page for special ones. I wanted to add Oswald and all the old Mickey Mouse ones, but I'm going to have to get those ones some other way. So then in the back, we have this where I keep my lanyards, which are right next to it. Now this is the First Order lanyard I got. This is the second lanyard I got, and I actually filled this one up with all my Star Wars ones. And I got a little nice 709th Legion over here for the First Order. Here was the first one I got. This one, oh, out of focus. This one is for Solo, the movie. See, it has all the characters from Solo. And I traded that kid, the pin I got, and I traded that one kid for, came from this lanyard, and it was the Han Solo pin. This came with a Han Solo, Kira, Lando, and Chewbacca. Chewbacca I traded for some other dude that was actually also from Oregon, also did a band trip there at one point. Or no, he did the Ambassadors of Music trip, the Europe trip. He traded me the Castle Crew pin. Over here, I have a droid. Now, the Galaxy's Edge has two options. You can either build a droid or a lightsaber. That's a lie. You can build both. Only problem is, to build both, it's $300. And I may have done both, which might have been a stupid idea. I don't know. But the droids, mine is an R6 unit based off the head with the body. The body is an R2 unit body, but the head automatically makes it R6, and it is remote controlled. See, he moves his head, and then he talks, and he goes full. Okay, well he's on a blanket, so he can't really move very well. On hard floor, he's really fast. On carpet, he's slower, but he still moves. On a blanket, apparently he doesn't move at all. So yeah, the droid itself is $100. So if you want to go get the droid, that's the cheaper option of the two major things to do in Galaxy's Edge. All the purple doors and stuff, they open up. The doors, they're usually white or whatever color they are, or whatever color the rest of the body is. And one of these, I knocked off the door. In this one, there's a little slot for a personality card. There's a first order option, there's a resistance option, and there is a scoundrel option. They only really work in Galaxy's Edge, and that is where you can, well, the chip makes it so that your R2 unit then has its own little like personality. It changes the way like your droid talks and stuff, and it'll, if you're in like if you get the first order chip and you're in the first order part of the Galaxy's Edge area, it sounds more happy, but then if you're in the resistance area, it sounds sad because it's not in its normal zone. So yeah, that's I didn't get a chip. So my mother also got one of the droids. It's black and it's a R2 unit. But the leg doesn't work because they didn't check the legs properly. So we're trying to get that fixed, even though we're in a completely different state and away from it. Moving on. Here we have the lightsaber. My lightsaber is part of... I don't remember. There's 4 different types. There's like power and control. There's peace and justice. There's something that I can't remember what mine is. But yeah, so it comes apart. Here, I'll show. As you can see, I've disassembled it. My crystal, I decided to go with the purple one because that one, air quotation marks, spoke to me. I just really like the color purple, and I thought a purple blade would be cool. I'm almost sad I didn't go with blue blades or anything because those are brighter, but I do like the purple blade, and I will also show that. But when you pick your type of lightsaber, you get a tray in there. In the place, you kind of have to follow like a little story, but you get like a tray, and it gives you all these options for them. And like this part, I got 2 options for this part, and I picked one to put on here, and then there are 2 different options for this one I put on here, and it's kind of just like a mix and match, type thing. And I thought the way mine looked was pretty nice. They do make some sounds, like when you put, I can't do it with 2 hands, but like when you put this into there, it makes sound, and this is the turn, like off on switch for it. So I reassembled it, and honestly, I do like the way like just the hilt looks with the blade. It's good too, but I like just holding this and showing this off because I think this looks much better just by itself. And see, it does make noise. It makes the burning sound because no blade in it. This is the blade. I thought it was pretty good length itself. You can go buy different length blades in one of the stores. The only problem is they're like $150 each. So I wasn't really going to go do that. I've already spent enough money at this point. So yeah, let's show you what the blade looks like when it's turned on. So you can't see it, the blade. If it's really dark, it looks a lot better, but when you turn this on, nice and bright, it does react when I'm not lying. See, there we go. It does react when being hit against things. You know, all these. Yeah, and it goes back in and back out. Yeah, on camera and stuff, it looks really nice. It looks really bright and stuff. In real life, it's not bad, but it's not as bright. So, yeah, but that's that lightsaber. So that concludes the Disneyland section of the trip. The day I got that's the day the band left, and we just stayed longer. And then the day after that, we did nothing. I slept in the hotel all day because I had walked more those 4 days than I had the entire, pretty much last year. So I was really tired. But that night, the day we did nothing, we actually went to Medieval Times. Last time we went to California a couple years ago, we went to Pirates Dinner Adventure. The very first time, we went to both these places. So we decided this time we'll go there. We ended up getting the VIP royalty part. It does just say royalty, but we got the Queen's royalty, which is the highest VIP section. So we got front row seats. We were right next to the jousting and all that stuff. We got these free complimentary flags for our night. And as you can see, we had, the red and yellow knight. He was kind of the bad guy. He lost. He came in second place, but the red knight, who was on the opposite team, kind of won. And it was kind of stupid because our knight was obviously the best. Everyone liked him. Our team cheered more. He should have won. But he was kind of like the rebel, so I guess that. Yeah, so that's Medieval Times. Now we're moving on to usually what is one of my favorite parts of any trip to California, Universal Studios. I've always loved Universal Studios, honestly. I've almost been more of a Universal kid than I have an actual Disney kid. You know how people identify themselves as Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network? Well, I'm Universal. I grew up on I grew up on a bunch of Universal movies. So, Universal. First place we went was Hogsmeade, which is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We went to Ollivanders. Last time we went there, we didn't go to Ollivanders, meaning I didn't get my wand. And when we went there, we looked for our Pottermore wands. Oh, that's the droid. Shut him off. He's getting all sad. So, we didn't get a wand, and I went for my Pottermore wand, which was made out of a certain type of wood, which they didn't have. So we asked one of the dudes, and they ended up bringing back 3 very similar wands, and I ended up getting an oak wand. And along with the wands, you get a map of Hogsmeade and all the places you can actually use, the magic or the wand to create magical things. I don't know, like levitating a teacup or a zipper or a piece of they had a tape measure you could lift up. Yeah, and around here it has the numbers on the map. It's number 2, and then you would go over here to number 2, and the 3 broomsticks is the store it's in front of, and then Incendio you would, because it shows you how to do it. So you'd stand in a certain position, you'd go Incendio, and it would this one, it had a bunch of lanterns in a window, and you go Incendio, and they'd all light up. See, that's pretty fun. I did enjoy that. It was not a whole lot, but I did enjoy it. Moving on from the Wizarding World, though, and to the saddest part of my trip, the part I cried over, Jurassic Park. They have gotten rid of Jurassic Park, which was always my favorite ride anywhere. Because Jurassic Park is pretty much my favorite movie. It's other than Titanic. Those two are my favorite movies to ever exist. And Jurassic Park I've been watching since I was a little child. I have very fond memories when watching that movie involving my grandmother and stuff. But if you may have noticed, I have a Jurassic Park blanket, which I'll clear off and show. And I also got this really cool Jurassic Park mug. It has all these dinosaurs on it and the logo. I just used it this morning to drink coffee. Yeah, they're building Jurassic World, and every time I would specifically go to all the Jurassic World gift shops and go and stand in the Jurassic Park section out of I wouldn't look at the Jurassic World stuff out of protest, because Jurassic World is basically just a ripoff of Jurassic Park. I'm not going to go into that because I've ranted over it for like hours before, and I don't want this to turn into that. This is already a very long video and already talking way too much about the trip instead of the things I got. So let me clear this off and I'll, show the full blanket. There we go. I can't get the entire thing into the shot unless I want to, turn it sideways. I really don't want to do that because I've made the entire thing. I don't know if you can still see it or not. I can't see this. But, yeah, this is now obviously my favorite blanket. And this is what I've been using as my backdrop, in case you haven't noticed. It's kind of busy, but it's like the least busy thing I actually have, so I just used it as the background. Also, it just makes it easier to show everything off. There was one raincoat that I wanted, a windbreaker, but we found that online, so I can just buy that online. Yeah. So, I skipped over a Medieval's Times part, but I wanted to wait till this is the end. This just came in today, and it's pretty big. And this is definitely the most expensive thing I bought. These things I'm about to show. But this is going to be the last part of my thing. You've probably noticed these in the background. So, yeah. I hope that the blanket doesn't make it hard to see. But this is the sword and shield of Edward the Black Prince. Now, it's obviously not like an actual replica of his real, sword. I don't know about the shield. They're kind of a pair. We bought them together. There is one little, mistake, which is probably a photoing mistake, where the blue is in these corners, the red there, and it's kind of just opposite here. But, whatever. Now, the story behind this sword, the shield's, just his shield. There's a cool thing on the back, right here, where you can actually attach the sword into it and hang them both together. But yeah, let's talk about the sword. So the sword, I had multiple options for different types of swords, and it ended up coming down to a sword named the Lancelot or this one. I honestly like the look of this one a little bit more, but there was differences. Like this one is factory made. Now it's not Chinese factory; it's Spanish, so it's actually good metal. It's still a strong, sturdy sword, but it is factory made. The Lancelot was a handmade one. So one downside to this is that the tang, which is the metal part that comes off of the blade, it goes down and shortens, it goes into the handle. The tang stops about here. On handmade swords and actual good swords that people use, the tang goes all the way to the end. That's because the tang makes the sword stronger and makes it sturdier. So if I wanted to sharpen these dull sides of it, focus. Okay, well, it's not going to focus. If I wanted to sharpen the dull sides of it, and if I was to hit a tree stump or something with it, for the Lancelot, because the tank's longer, it makes it automatically stronger, and because it's handmade and it's Spanish steel, the blade would hold up decently well. It wouldn't bend or chip, and the blade wouldn't snap off because the tang is all the way down here. With this has a much greater chance of the blade snapping off. I don't plan on ever hitting a tree stump or actually sharpening the edges because I don't plan on using this sword. But yeah, that is the difference. This was also cheaper because it was factory made, not handmade. But now this is obviously his coat of arms. I'm pretty sure the shield's more correct on his coat of arms. I'll have to check. But yeah, so back here, we have this nice little decoration right here depicting Edward. That's very confusing to look at. Yeah, there's parts of his his crest and stuff. It says Black Prince on it. And up here, so there is a story. There's not a whole lot of stories about him that have actually been confirmed because he didn't live a very long life, and this was back in the 1300s. But there is one story about him that Edward the Black Prince liked jousting. And because he was royalty, if you jousted against him, you automatically had to lose, because if you, killed royalty in battle, you would automatically get killed. So he ended up going by a different name and using, like, this sword, so that he would actually get, like, a fair fight when jousting. And, he was actually fairly good at jousting. And every time he jousted and defeat somebody, he'd put their family crest, which is, you know, these. He put the family crest on the end of his sword, which, you know... Oh, no, the video went sideways. Oh, God, I'm sorry. He'd put it on his sword, which would obviously represent, you know, everyone he defeated. And this represents, you know, the... What is that? 4, 8, the 8 people he defeated. A little family crest. Yeah. So I actually like the look of this sword a little bit more. A sword I actually originally wanted was a nice little blue sword. It was much smaller than this one, lighter, cheaper. It was only $150. This one is $200, along with this, which this was $200. The sword is $250, and that doesn't include, you know, the shipping and everything. So yeah, but that's the story behind this. This has, like, I don't know. Now this is actual leather too. Only problem is it's not hand wrapped, which makes it a little weaker and stuff. And yeah, so this is what I got from my adventures in California. Now I want to dedicate this video to BreeAnn. If you're not BreeAnn, I'm sorry for wasting your time. BreeAnn, if you didn't watch the entire thing, go back and watch the entire thing, because I made this specifically for you, and I would like for you to watch it, or at least listen to it. And yeah, thanks for listening.